So you're thinking of moving to Edmond, Oklahoma, but you have some questions. What's it like to live in Edmond? What's it like to live in Oklahoma? Well, in this video, I'm going to be answering the most frequently asked questions. My name is Kinsley and I'm a local real estate agent in Edmond, Oklahoma and its surrounding areas. Whether you're moving in 10 days or 10 months, I'd love to be able to help you make a smooth move to Oklahoma. As I get to meet more people as they're relocating to the Edmond area, I get asked all sorts of questions, and so I compiled a list of some of the most commonly asked questions to answer for you right here in this video. I love being able to help people every single day, just like you and you and you and you find your Oklahoma homes. Feel free to reach out to me. You can give me a call, text, email, you can send me a DM. You can find my information in the description box below. And if you want to be the first to know about what's going on in Edmond, Oklahoma, then subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss any of my future videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started to the most frequently asked questions about Edmond, Oklahoma. Number one of the most common questions I receive is, what's in Edmond, Oklahoma? Is there anything to do? The answer is yes. Edmond and its surrounding areas, there's lots of parks, so lots of kind of walking trails and just parks for families, and there's playgrounds and ponds. There's tons of movie theaters, lots of places to shop, there's lots of restaurants. And in Edmond, you're really close to a lot of cities that has even more. So you're close to Oklahoma City, you're close to Arcadia with Arcadia Lake, you're close to Guthrie, which is just north, and it kind of has that cute small town feel, but just kind of a different vibe than Edmond. If you want to know even more of what there is to do, you can watch one of my recent videos, 12 things to do in Edmond, Oklahoma, but there is tons of things to do in Edmond. Question number 2 that I receive is, how's the traffic in Edmond? And I want to preface by saying that Edmond is set up in a grid system. So every mile or so you have a red light or you have a stop sign, and so this can slow down traffic. However, if you are moving from a city that is really populated, that you maybe are used to sitting in hours and hours of traffic, Edmond is not like that. You might get stopped at a stoplight or a stop sign for a couple of cycles during the really busy times, but as far as sitting in traffic for hours and hours, it's not going to happen. Very, very uncommon for that to be the situation. And so I say that compared to some other cities, the traffic in Edmond is really mild. But if you're coming from a town where there's barely anybody, you don't have any traffic, then the traffic in Edmond might seem a little more than what you're used to. Edmond is kind of different than some of the other areas I'm familiar with in that it has 3 school districts within the city of Edmond. So on your western side, you have Deer Creek. On your central to eastern side, you have Edmond Public Schools, and then kind of south, you have Oakdale Schools. All of these schools are highly ranked schools. They have great reviews, they have really good star reviews, they have good test scores, and overall, they just are really highly ranked. And kind of if you start searching best schools in Oklahoma, probably all 3 of these school districts are going to pop up on some of the top ones that you're going to see. When people ask me, well, which school would you recommend, or would you do Deer Creek or Edmond? I always like to refer to greatschools.com because it helps you see what parents are saying and kind of seeing as an overall view, how are people ranking the schools? And so I always suggest going on there, but I can just tell you kind of broadly, all of them are ranked really well. And so maybe you have specific things that you're looking for. I would just go and look at the ratings, see what parents are saying, seeing what the ratings that they're giving, and hopefully that will kind of help you come to a conclusion on your own. Number 4 is there anything to do with kids in Edmond? And the answer to that is yes. I'm gonna have a video coming out in the next week or so that talks about things to do this summer, and a lot of those things could be done with kids, so definitely be on the lookout for that video. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed so that you see that video when it comes out. But there's tons of things to do with kids in Edmond. As I said earlier, you have tons of parks. Along with that, you have some water parks in Edmond or even around the Edmond area. You have Lake Arcadia, which is eastern, kind of in Arcadia, but lots of things to do there. You can walk around, you can fish. They have different events that occur throughout the year. And while this isn't in Edmond, you also have the Oklahoma City Zoo, which is a really nice zoo, really great to take kids to. You also have Frontier City and its water park. So Frontier City is kind of a branch of Six Flags. So it's a little amusement park and the water park. And so definitely in the months where the weather's better, great park to go and take kids. My favorite things is that just around the town, there's snow cone stands just kind of popping up here and there. Snow cones are some of my favorites, and especially in the summer when it gets really hot, I think that's just a fun thing to do with kids, to maybe go to a park and go get a snow cone at one of the shops just around town. Question 5, should I live on the eastern or the western side of Edmond? Honestly, this is just a preference thing. Both the western and eastern sides kind of have their pros and their cons. One big thing is that you're really going to look at Deer Creek versus Edmond. If you have a preference of wanting to be in Edmond schools or Deer Creek schools, that might sway your decision, because if you want to be in Deer Creek, you pretty much have to be on the western side. There are kind of parts of it where the lines start to kind of blend together, and you might be western but still be Edmond schools. But for the most part, western's gonna be Deer Creek, central eastern's gonna be Edmond. Western's gonna be more of that kind of prairie land feel, much more flat with less trees and less hills. You still have some, but not as much on the eastern side. The eastern side, you're gonna have more of the hills, lots more trees, maybe some more windy roads. Still nothing super crazy, but more than the western side. I would say that on the western side of Edmond, a lot of them have a more modern look or kind of that more simple look, whereas on the eastern side, I feel like you get more into the craftsman look. I feel like there's a kind of a part as you're driving through Edmond, you can just kind of tell when you're starting to get to it as you get to some neighborhoods like Cross Timbers, and they just have more of a craftsman feel to them. But honestly, it's just up to preference. For me, I live on the western side, but that's just because of personal reasons and my husband's job. I love the eastern side. If our job was over on the east side, I would probably want to live on the east side. So I think it's really all of Edmond I love, and each one kind of has the pros and cons. And so you just kind of have to get an idea of which side you want to live on and then kind of go from there. And if you don't have a preference, then you can just look for that perfect house. And if it happens to be on the western, or if it happens to be on the eastern side, then that's awesome. Question number 6 is, does it snow in Edmond? And the answer to that is yes. But even more than snow, I would say it ices. Typically, if we're gonna get snow, we're gonna get a pretty good chunk of ice beforehand. It can get cold here in the winter months. It can get close to 0 or even maybe feel like it's below 0, especially if the wind is really high. And so it definitely snows, it does get cold, but I would say that it doesn't stay that way for a long time. You might get a snow here or there, but it's not going to be just feet of snow for months and months. It'll come and it'll go. Yes, it does snow, but it's not a continuous thing all winter long. Number 7 is, how hot does it get in Edmond? And it gets pretty hot, especially in the summer. In the heart of summer, it will get 100 degrees plus, and it could stay over 100 degrees for a good chunk of time. This past summer was exceptionally hot. I think it was over 100 degrees almost every day of the summer. It definitely can get hot. So that's where those snow cone stands will definitely come in handy. Question number 8 is, are there a lot of tornadoes in Edmond? And the answer is kind of complicated, because yes, tornadoes can happen. Yes, Oklahoma is known for having tornadoes. So yes, they can happen. Do they happen super often in Edmond? No, there are other parts of the OKC metro that just happen to see tornadoes a lot more frequently. There are studies going into why that is, but really Edmond is not going to see as many tornadoes as some of the other parts of OKC. Another thing that I like to point out is that in Edmond, in the Oklahoma area, a lot of homes are kind of built for it, and so a lot of homes come with storm shelters. And another thing is that the weathermen are really great at tracking it, and so you are watching the news, they're able to tell you, okay, the tornado's here, it's coming on this road, it's about time to get in your storm shelter. And so while they do happen maybe more in Oklahoma than some of the other states, I feel like the homes are equipped for it, or at least a lot of them are. And also the weathermen are so good at tracking it that they're kind of able to let you know when it's coming, and so that you feel more prepared for them. Question number 9 is, I'm coming to visit Edmond, and where should I stay? This is a great question, and you'll notice that in Edmond, there's a lot of residential and commercial properties, but there's not going to be a lot of hotels just spread out in the heart of Edmond. So if you're coming to visit, I would suggest looking in the northwest OKC area. This is going to be kind of off of Quail Springs. There's a good chunk of hotels kind of in that area. And then also on the eastern side of Edmond, off of I-35, there is a good number of hotels kind of over in that area. And so I would suggest those are probably the main two to kind of look for. And maybe if you have done a little bit of research and you think you want to look at homes in the western side, I'd probably stay in Northwest OKC. But if you like homes that are more on the eastern side, probably stay off of I-35. I do have a Visit Oklahoma packet that I will send you totally for free that just kind of gives you an idea of some hotels, restaurant, things to do while you're visiting, kind of an overview of the area. And so if you want that, feel free again to reach out to me, and I'd love to send you that free packet of just what to do, kind of the overview of visiting Oklahoma. Number 10 is, where should I eat when I come to Edmond? Or what are some of the best places to eat? I've actually created 2 different videos. One is best places to eat in Edmond, one is best places to eat in OKC. So definitely go check those out. But to kind of give you an overview, I would say downtown Edmond has some great places to eat. Downtown Edmond also has the Ice House Project and the Rail Yard, and both of those little kind of communities have great places to eat. But even just in the strip of downtown Edmond, some of my favorite places to eat are down there. So definitely check out downtown Edmond. Some of my favorites are gonna be Neighborhood Jam, Birdie's, The Mule, Nashbird, which is kind of a take on Nashville hot chicken, the Fried Taco. A lot of these places I really love, and some of the, to me, in my opinion, the best places to eat in Edmond. And also in that Visiting Oklahoma guide, I will kind of give you some of my top favorites as well. And then kind of a bonus question that I get is, what do you think? Should I move to Edmond? And Oklahoma's not for everybody. There are definitely things that people want that you just can't get in Oklahoma. If you have to live near a beach, you shouldn't move to Edmond. If you have to live near big mountains, you shouldn't move to Edmond. But there's so many great things about Edmond. I love living in Edmond. When my husband and I moved here, we just fell in love with the area. We fell in love with Oklahoma City and its downtown. We fell in love with just the people of Edmond, and there's so much about it that we love. And so while it's not for everybody, I think there's so many great things. And if you just want to kind of chat and talk more about what Edmond has to offer, again, please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me a text, give me a call, shoot me an email, whatever it is, I will get back with you, and we can either talk about you visiting Edmond, or maybe you're moving to Edmond, and I would love to just be able to help you make a smooth move to Oklahoma. Whether you're moving in 10 days or 10 months, I'd love to be able to help you in your buying process. I hope this video was helpful. Again, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you are the first to know about what's going on in Edmond, and I will catch you guys in my next video.